Today we have a special guest in studio. His name is Eric Alper. He's with a Koch in Canada. And we're going to talk with Eric a little bit. And first of all, Eric, for those that are not familiar with your company, could you just outline a little bit and make us aware?
Koch Canada is the Canadian division. It's the distribution arm of Koch International. And Koch International is one of the world's largest and leading independent distribution companies in the world. We also have Koch Records, which is a record label that Koch owns, that has things like the Crow soundtrack. It has the American Psycho soundtrack, but primarily around the world it's known as a distribution company.
I see. Okay, well that sounds very enormous, really, when you when you're signing those type of people.
It's big. We have offices in over 20 countries.
Wow.
It started many years ago and has just grown and grown into North America, and Koch International has won the best independent distribution company at the Canadian Music Week Awards.
Wonderful.
3 years running now. So.
That's great. Okay, in comparison, say, to a major company that people would be able to relate to if they're not aware of your outfit, for instance, could you give us an idea in comparison to size? Or
in terms of the Sonys and the Warners and the EMI and the other major labels, what's distinct about those labels is that they do their own manufacturing. That's essentially what being a major label means, is that you are doing your own manufacturing in-house. If you're farming it out, or if you're getting another company, then you are considered to be an independent. In Canada, our sales don't account for, I think, what the major labels do, but they're dealing with by far more funding, more staff members. I mean, our bands do well.
That's still fantastic. Okay, Eric, insofar as for yourself personally, what is your actual responsibility with Koch?
I handle the media relations and the publicity and promotion for all of Koch's labels and all their bands, which means that I would do everything from booking interviews with the local media. I would try and get some radio play happening with regards to bios and photos for all of Koch's labels that we distribute, whether it's Oh Boy Records or Knitting Factory Records. That all comes through my office in Toronto.
So how did you gain experience to be able to do all this?
I started a company called Slap Happy back in 1995. It was actually the day after I quit. I didn't quit. I graduated university. I quit learning in school, and I started my own publicity company with a partner. And we only worked with independent bands. We wanted to help out indie bands that were playing, in bars and in clubs in Toronto. We just felt that there was a lot of misinformation out there about maybe how to get signed or how to make your money back on your CDs that the bands worked so hard to spend. So we felt that we should, try and help them out and give them a little bit more of a leg up on being the best success that they could be.
That's commendable, because that's exactly one of the big problems, major problems, is for any of the bands is to get a label or to even get signed anywhere. Okay, Eric, in order for you to be aware what's going on with musicians and the indie world and so on, you would almost have to make me think that you were a musician?
I was for about 2.5 minutes. I'm the only band that I played
Talk
in.
about short fame.
Oh, it was amazingly well-knit band, and I find this hard to believe some days, with Hayden.
The Hayden?
The Hayden from Toronto. We jammed on Supertramp cover tunes.
Oh, cool.
And did one original song, and looking back on it, we were probably the worst band that ever practiced in Toronto. I couldn't keep a beat. I tried to learn how to play drums rather than just feeling it out, and I think looking back on it and realizing that Hayden has been such a success, it was probably a wise choice that I stopped playing music and getting more into the background of things, because I couldn't do anything else.
I can relate to that. I can't sing and I can't play any instruments, but I sure love music. I also notice now, compared to a few years ago, at the awards for music, they now have the indie into consideration, and indie awards. That's really helped to bring respect to the indie labels, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. At Canadian Music Week, it's the celebration for Canadian music. It
Right.
happens around the couple of days before the Juno Awards. It's a chance for the industry to honor, the very best in whether it's music or distribution and other parts of the industry like that. Koch International has won the Best Independent Distributor Award for the last 3 years. That's definitely, it's a nice pat on the back, but it makes us work that much harder to know that we have a standard to live up to. Definitely, I mean, awards like that are great, for the time being, but then, come Monday morning, everybody knows that they have to work hard in order to maintain that.
True, but at least there's some recognition now, which is, I think, wonderful.
Definitely, I mean, awards like that are great, and it just, to me, it just means that independent doesn't necessarily have to mean sloppy. It doesn't have to be, working on a bare
It's not
bones
second
operation.
class.
Exactly.
Right.